Detroit Den 313. We are back. Stephen Will talking that Detroit Lions football. Before we get started, you know what to do. Bang that subscribe button. Don't forget the bell icon so you do not miss any of our new content. Steve, talk to the people about the absolute snoozer that we're about to post up.
Man, I don't know. I don't know. I saw some stuff on Twitter. I sent you a screenshot. This isn't from like a verified account. It was just one random fan who I happen to follow. I'm not trying to throw shade at you. Don't remember your name. I'm not going to put you on blast, but asking if the Detroit Lions should sign wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr.
Odell Beckham,
Yeah, OBJ,
the one hand catch king.
the one hand catch king.
Man, listen.
Mhm.
I think those are some generational hands. Let me just start with that. He's got some special hands. Um, the one thing that sticks out to me, I forget who. Forgive me, I forget who the wide receiver coach was for the Baltimore Ravens, but he had that clip. When he first got to Baltimore, and OBJ was catching one hand passes at practice, and one of the reserve receivers was like, "Coach, why are you talking about how good of a job he's doing when you don't let any of us do that?" And he was like, "Oh, he's different. He's different." So, I mean, his hands are different, man, and the opportunity to get somebody with those type of hands, you have to absolutely pass on. The dude's 75 years old. We're talking about like
I
he's
don't
gonna
even. It's
is he
not
gonna
even
catch?
his age for me.
Is he gonna catch him in his wheelchair? Is he gonna?
Yeah, I mean, listen, um, this isn't an oncology department, all right? We don't need a cancer like Odell Beckham Jr. on
Hey,
this team,
hey,
okay? Listen, this guy has been toxic, poison, cancerous every single locker room he stepped foot in, besides one, in my opinion. His year with the Rams, his short stint with the Rams, didn't really hear much about him. Things
yeah,
were going good. They won a Super Bowl. You're not going to hear anyone griping. Every other team he's been on, the New York Giants, the Cleveland Browns, now recently as the Baltimore Ravens, what's
yeah,
he done? Throws his teammates under the bus. When things aren't going right, he throws tantrums on the sidelines.
yeah,
I remember him getting the entanglement with the kicking net a few years ago back when he was in New York.
yeah.
Games are over. He goes to the locker room. He grabs his phone. He jumps on Twitter, calls his teammates out, calls their family out. Just a hard pass. I could not be less interested in Odell Beckham Jr.
I'll tell you this: there's only one reason, and one reason only. I'm not gonna give Odell the absolute business, and it's because my son Jackson loves Odell. He's an Odell fan, so I'm gonna keep my choice my choice things to say about Odell to a minimum just for that. If for some odd reason, I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. But if for some odd reason we signed Odell Beckham, I would buy my son an Odell jersey because I know he would love it. He would love it, and I would cheer for him as much as I could will my body to do it. But I just don't see it happening, man. What is he? 31 years old. I think I had the stats up,
He'll be
man.
he'll be he'll be 32 towards the back end of the season.
Yeah, I had the stats up. It hurt me to even look up these stats,
Yeah,
but
it's been brutal since 2018 was
yeah,
his
no,
last thousand yard.
2019 he had 1,000. 2019 with Cleveland, his first year at Cleveland, or with Cleveland, he had 1,000 yards. But then after that, it was 319, 232, 305, and then last year he made some plays at the end of the year. He had 565. So is he a guy that can still contribute to a team? I think he can to a certain degree. You got to take everything that comes along with him, though. And I don't think he's a full season guy. I think he's a guy you get in, you put him on a snap count, you play him when it counts, and hope that he can make some plays in some big moments. But the juice isn't worth the squeeze for me, kind of like a CJ Gardner Johnson situation. You're talking
Bro,
about a
this is way worse. I think I can't stand Odell Beckham Jr.
well, I say because they both talk a lot, and now I think we're to a point to where the play on a game in and game out doesn't speak to the conversation. Now, can they both show up in moments? Absolutely. And I'm not saying that CJ Gardner Johnson isn't going to go out to Philly and have a good season because he just may do that. But I know for his stay in Detroit, he did more talking than he did playing, and that includes the amount of time that he was talking about the San Francisco 49ers. He did a lot of talking about Debo. He did a lot of talking about San Francisco, and things didn't work out. Odell's I've been seeing a lot. He's not a Lion, and I'm not a huge Odell fan, so I haven't truly been following him through and through, but I see a lot of him on TMZ and more on TMZ than ESPN.
Yeah, I can't have the Kardashians at a Detroit Lions game on a Sunday. I just can't have it. This is the Motor City. All right, this is a blue collar town. Don't bring trash into my city. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at
Ooh,
that.
ooh.
Yeah, I don't need Instagram models. We need Eminem, Kid Rock, end of list. I don't need Kim showing up.
Dang,
Okay, I don't.
Can Big Sean come to the game?
Hey, Big Sean can come to a game. If you're a known
Man,
Detroiter, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, if you have ties to the city, you're welcome here. Kim
all right.
Kardashian and them could stay their ass out in California, Florida, wherever the hell they're living. But
Yeah.
I think, yeah, you're right about CJ Gardner Johnson and Odell Beckham doing a lot of talking. For me, I don't mind some trash talk. I draw the line at calling out teammates.
Yep.
Odell Beckham, the time he was in New York, he was calling out Eli Manning for not getting the ball. Correct me if I'm wrong. Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowls and is going to the Hall of Fame, correct? Probably not the guy you want to be calling out.
You're not wrong.
He goes to Cleveland. What's he do? Starts calling out Baker Mayfield every single season, getting involved. His dad's getting involved on Twitter. Not a good look. Go to the Rams, quiet. You're winning. Everything's good. It's easy to have fun when you're winning. You go to Baltimore, you lose in the playoffs. What do? You get on Twitter, you're calling out Lamar Jackson. It's just ugly. Everywhere he's gone, it's been the same thing, same song and dance. He comes to Detroit, he ruins this culture, ruins his team. It's just a poison we can't get rid of. And so don't even entertain the idea,
Steve,
William.
gun to your head.
No, absolutely not. I'm not signing Odell Beckham.
We're in a bind. We're going into the NFC Championship game. J-Mo's down. Amon Ra's down. You got 2 options. Give Odell a call, or, and I already know what the answer is. I'm just
Tom
saying.
Kennedy, baby.
Throw call Tom Kennedy up there to get it done. What you doing?
I'm calling TK85. That's what I'm doing. Absolutely. I'm calling Tom Kennedy over Odell Beckham. I'll call Odell Beckham, see if he needs a ticket to the game because he damn sure ain't going to be on the field. Absolutely not. I would take him. He would be my absolute last resort.
Can I get 2 seconds?
Absolutely.
Listen, if you are subscribed to the Detroit Den, or you are one of the many people that watch Detroit Den 313 and you aren't subscribed, which I can't even understand why people watch us so religiously and then don't subscribe, because the numbers don't lie. A lot of people are watching and it doesn't reflect the amount of subscriptions. So please, guys, it doesn't cost you anything. It takes 2 seconds. Please subscribe. That being said, though, if you have any connections to Tom Kennedy, please tell him that he is loved at Detroit Den 313. If we could get Tom Kennedy on here, I don't even know if Steve could talk. He'd
Build
be
the
so
statue, hang the jersey in the rafters, put him in the Hall of Fame. Huge Tom Kennedy fan.
yeah,
He's a
absolutely.
preseason nightmare. You don't want to see TK85 in the preseason. You're taking a loss.
No doubt. No
Yeah,
doubt.
I don't know. Just felt like we had to address it. What's crazy is, though, the Detroit Lions do need an X receiver.
Yeah.
Odell Beckham is an X receiver. He can stretch the field, make plays down the field. Just there's 1,000 other directions I'd like to see this team go instead of him.
Just re-sign Josh Reynolds at that point.
Yeah, and if that's not the route you want to go, NFL draft. Like,
yeah,
we'll find someone. We'll find someone who wants to come here and play ball and keep their mouth shut on Twitter.
Yeah, I think Jared Goff has that relationship with him, man. I know he had a couple of drops in an important moment, but I'm not going to hang my hat on that. At the end of the day, he's been a solid guy for Jared Goff. And if that's what I'm choosing in between, and pretty much, what's left in free agency, I would bring Josh Reynolds back. And that still doesn't mean that I'm not going to, select somebody in the draft. So
Mike
who knows?
Williams.
Yeah. That's
There's
probably the
still
only
options,
one. That's probably the only one that's left, though, for me, man. Mike Williams is probably the one that I would want above Josh Reynolds. Outside of that, even that guys that are comparable, it's just a matter of Jared Goff's relationship. I seen I'm not gonna steal this stat because I heard it on the radio the other day. It was just said that Josh Reynolds has only played 8 football games without Jared Goff as his quarterback.
Wow.
Yeah, so
You know what I was doing today? While we had this is kind of a little off topic, just a different subject.
talk to me.
Nice little quiet Sunday. I wanted to rewatch my favorite game from the Lions season this past year. It was the first playoff game, Rams Lions. Um, Josh Reynolds had some huge catches in that game.
Mhm.
Just looking at his box score, 5 catches, 80 yards, no touchdowns, but he just made some great catches to keep the chains moving, keep the ball rolling. And that was the Josh Reynolds we had all year. I'm kind of sick of people bashing him because he had his worst moment at the worst time.
Yeah,
It
I agree.
happens. He had his worst moment at the worst possible time in the NFC Championship game. 2 drops, very uncharacteristic, but I'm not going to say he carried the team all season, but Josh Reynolds was just kind of like a Cam Sutton. We didn't have to talk about him until the end of the year. Josh Reynolds just showed up, he played ball, contributed, didn't break the stat sheet, but he was just there at dependable moments. I think we need to yeah, I think the crane kick, yeah. I think we just need to give him some slack, man, cuz yeah, he
Yeah.
had those 2 drops. I'm pretty sure those were like his only 2 drops for the season if I'm not mistaken. Like it sucks. I get it. We're all heartbroken, but if you look at the other 19 games, Josh Reynolds, you either A, didn't hear about because he was just doing everything right, or B, he was making plays down the field.
I agree. I agree 100%, man. I don't even have anything to add to it. You said it perfectly, man. He's a guy. The only way that I wouldn't want him back is if we had a clear upgrade. And the only person I see is Mike Williams.
What about some draft prospects?
I would still bring Josh Reynolds back because I think at that point you can pay him a 7 million, and then you get this wide receiver that you bring in on a rookie deal, and then by the time he's ready to hang him up or move on after his 2 year, 3 year deal that he signs, the rookie will be ready to take over.
Yeah, I would much rather re-sign Josh Reynolds instead of Odell Beckham. Like I said, 19 out of 20 games, he was phenomenal, or we weren't having to talk about him. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to put it to bed. That's just our thoughts. Hard pass for me on Odell Beckham Jr. though.
All right. Well, since this is a shorter one, I'm gonna throw one question out at you before we get out of here.
Oh boy.
You mentioned it, so it kind of it sprung the question, it sprung a light bulb in my brain. Hot take. I know we don't want to give up our mock drafts. This is just kind of spur of the moment, putting you on the spot. At pick 29, you have to draft a receiver. Obviously, the big three are gone. Who you drafting and why you drafting them at 29?
The big three are gone. So
Yeah.
Rome Odunze, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Malik Neighbors.
Yep.
For me, it's probably going to be a toss up between I'm good with either Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU or Xavier Leggett. I like both of them. There's a ton of receivers I like in this draft, so I'm not going to be disappointed with anyone. I would personally at 29 rather prefer a pass rush, but if the gun's to my head, I got to pick a receiver. It's one of those two: Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, any one of those four, any combination. I probably would have to say if we had Xavier Worthy, he's like a second JMO. Can we get him the
Mhm.
ball enough? We don't get JMO the ball enough, but I think if you got 2 guys who run that type of speed, it's hard to find on a football field. It makes it hard to defend. But the question is going to come down to Jared Goff either way. So I think it would be easier to get probably an Xavier Worthy just with his speed. You can get him the ball in different ways, reverses, pop passes, bubble screens. I think it would fit with what Jared Goff's strong at. So that would probably be my pick, but I really like Xavier Leggett as well.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. I'm leaning more towards Xavier Leggett and Adonai Mitchell. Those are my two favorites at 29. And but we talked about it before, so we're not really letting the cat out of the bag. I think you hit it again. Pass rush is the deal for me too. At 29, I fantasize and romanticize about these receivers at 29, and we talk about it because we have no idea what Brad's going to do at the end of the day. But I think we both agree at pick 29, we either want to see Fisk or one of these pass rushers. And fingers crossed, man, that we're sitting there, we're having a couple of cocktails, we're down there downtown, and we're watching a phenomenal pass rusher get walk across that stage. That's going to be helping Aiden Hutchinson kill quarterbacks for the next decade.
Yeah, I think pass rusher is the missing piece on the team more than a receiver. I think a receiver is probably third on my list. I think we need an edge rusher, an interior offensive lineman, then probably a wide receiver. So I'm looking at a receiver like second or third round.
Yeah, it'd be second round for me. I think I would like to see us move up, man, because I just don't think at 61 we're gonna get that dynamic receiver that we want. That second tier guy, the Malachi Corleys, the Javon Bakers. I think those guys are going to be gone by pick 61. And once you get into later on in the second round, third round, I think the drop off is going to be gonna be substantial. So for me, it's go get your edge rusher, move up in the draft, go get your man. You know,
Get your man.
you know what I'm saying? And then after that, who knows? We talked about some of those other secondary pass rushers. We talked about some linebackers, the Junior Colsons of the world. You know, in the third round, who knows, man? Possibilities are endless. But got sidetracked. OBJ sounds like he's a pass for both of us, correct?
Hard pass.
Hard pass, guys. Put it in the comments. Like, do you really want to see? Because I seen it on X. I'm still getting
Yeah,
used to calling it that. I seen it
it's
on
always
Twitter.
Twitter.
It's still Twitter, yeah. But seen it on Twitter, a couple people talking about it. I haven't talked to my son about it, but I know he would be down to bring OBJ in to Detroit. So would you be down? Would you want to see him? Maybe a 1-year deal? Odell
0-year
Beckham.
deal. I will pay him to not play for the Lions. That's how much I don't want him for the team. Hey, we're going to sign you to a 1-year contract, but the stipulation is we don't actually want you to play for us. That would have to be my rule.
Detroit in a truck. We'll move him to whoever he selects besides the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, go collect your jersey somewhere else because I don't need to be Honolulu blue.
Right on.
All right, guys, that's it. We talked a little OBJ. We talked some Josh Reynolds. Be nice to him. We talked some possible options in the draft. Just a quick little episode. Let us know what you think on those 3 topics. Hit that like button. If you're new, stick around, subscribe. We'll be back later with some more content.
Peace.